Hello, everyone, and welcome. Hope you're staying safe at home. Hope you're staying inside, not catching any viruses or anything. And welcome to a Bird Words film breakdown, a different one than usual. Instead of doing a quarterback, we're doing a cornerback. Logan Ryan, the former Tennessee Titan and apparently new New York Jet, according to Manish Mehta of New York Daily News. As of time recording, the Jets themselves have not confirmed anything, and neither Adam Schefter of ESPN nor Ian Rappaport of NFL Network have confirmed the deal on their end, but Manish Mehta of New York Daily News, generally a pretty reliable beat reporter, he says that Logan Ryan plans on signing with the Jets for a one-year deal. Obviously, the Jets really boosting their secondary. Marcus May and Jamal Adams, two great safeties already. They re-signed Brian Poole. They drafted that kid from Auburn, whose last name I can't say. Noah something. I'm not even going to try. But yeah, so really good secondary forming in New York right now. And today we're going to go 5 plays from Logan Ryan's 2019 season that I feel best define the type of football player he is. Show all his strengths and weaknesses in 5 plays. So before we get into that, let's first go over who Logan Ryan is as a player. So Logan Ryan was selected in the 3rd round of the 2013 NFL Draft by the New England Patriots. He played 4 years in New England before hitting free agency in 2017, where he signed with the Tennessee Titans. He's a corner that plays primarily as a nickel corner, and as you'll see in one of the plays, he kind of even plays as a box corner, which is a term I've never used to describe a cornerback before. Let's get right into Ryan. So here's the first play from Week 7 against the Los Angeles Chargers. Logan Ryan in zone coverage, lining up on the inside, not quite the boundary corner, but not quite the slot receiver, kind of in the middle there. And you see here he'll drop out to his left to cover the shallow zone. He'll read quarterback Phillip Rivers there. No one really drops in the zone. He sees Rivers staring down the receiver. Not really staring down the receiver, but he sees Rivers looking at the receiver. And look how much range he covers. He gets out there so fast. Like, his zone, if you can see my mouse, his zone is like here. And he makes a play all the way over here. And right here, once the ball is in the air, he confirms, okay, the ball's coming out to this guy out here. And he just turns on the Jets, makes a great leaping play to break up the pass and get the pass broken up. You'll see better this angle, what he does at the point of attack. Let me cut forward a little bit. See a ball in the air, just like the amount of ground he covers and just this athleticism and just like smart hand placement, obviously you have to be very athletic to dive out like that and get your hand out there to break up the play. But even beyond that, just the ability to like aim yourself correctly, aim your body correctly, get your hand right there. Just showing incredible coverage range, great zone coverage instincts. Basically almost instantly realizes, okay, in this shallow zone, there's no one to cover. Phillip Rivers is looking out there. I'm going to quickly bolt out there and make a play. If you look at this point, really showing a second gear, great closing speed, great zone coverage corner, very rangy zone coverage corner, especially useful for zone coverage corners who play in the slot, because in the slot you have a lot more room to cover. Obviously, if you're a boundary corner, you only really have to worry about one side. The sideline's really helping on one end, so you have to you only have to worry about cutting in. But when you're a nickel corner, there's so much more range to cover, and he really has the ability to cover all the range that you need him to. And this second play here, this is why I call him a box corner, which is, again, not a word you hear often. So you'll see corners you'll see nickels line up in the box as box safety sometimes, but again, usually they're safeties, not corners. Malcolm Jenkins of the formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, now the New Orleans Saints. You'll see like Tyrann Mathieu, players like that, but usually like it's a strong safety who lines up in the box, and it's like, it's someone who lines up in the box or plays back as a safety, but rarely do you see corners line up in the box, and Logan Ryan does. He lines up in the box fairly often, more often than you might think, which is kind of an interesting wrinkle, right? Like for a cornerback, he can play outside as a boundary corner, he can play as a nickel, and he can kind of take over that role as a box safety. So on a play like this, where technically they only have 2 safeties on the field, but it's effectively a 3 safety look, the way that Logan Ryan plays. So versatile, and that's something that the New England Patriots obviously love. That's probably why they drafted him. And the Tennessee Titans, obviously Mike Vrabel's their head coach. They're kind of taking over the Patriot way. You see the flag in the back of the Detroit Lions are another one of those teams. The Titans do things a little differently than the Lions and the Patriots, but versatility is always something that is very, very valued on these Patriots type teams. And Logan Ryan has that. And yeah, this is basically a 3-safety look, despite the fact that Logan Ryan is a corner. And you'll see him drop back into coverage here, into zone coverage, which, again, okay, this is also weird. The Titans play more zone coverage than you might expect from a Patriots-type team. So we'll get into his man coverage. But he's a very good zone coverage corner. Drops back, leaves off his man, then again realizes nobody's in his zone. He's kind of in the free. He has him, and makes a good read on Rivers. Sees the man coming over the middle, and look how quickly he gets back there to break up the play. I mean, Rivers could have thrown a better pass and placed it better to give his receiver a better chance to make the play. But, I mean, at this point, like, he so quickly realizes what is happening, and there's no one here. All right, ball's going over his head. Turn around, get back there, make a play, hit the guy, break up the pass. Like, I mean, preventing a 20-something yard gain. You're like, Keenan Allen is going to be wide open. And honestly, if Rivers does a good pass, Ryan doesn't show up, he makes his catch and turns upfield, maybe all the way to inside the 20, maybe even a touchdown if he makes a man miss. And Keenan Allen is definitely a player that can do that. His footwork is incredible. But Logan Ryan just reacts so quickly. He covers so much range in zone coverage. He has such great control over the zone he's assigned to. Like you saw in the first play too, he's so good at making plays at the point of attack. He can break up the ball. He can lay hits here, a ball a little bit in front of Keenan Allen, and he makes Phillip Rivers pay for that. He makes Keenan Allen play especially, but he really makes the Chargers pay for Phillip Rivers not placing that ball perfectly by just putting himself in the right place. Here, right there in the box. Weird position for a corner to be in, but interesting. And ball too far in front, too high for Allen, and Logan Ryan lights him up and breaks up the play. So as mentioned earlier, Logan Ryan doesn't really play a lot of man coverage because he plays in Tennessee, a team that surprisingly doesn't play man as much as the Patriots or Lions or Dolphins. But when he does play man coverage, So as you mentioned earlier, Logan Ryan doesn't play as much man coverage as you would expect, being on the team like the Titans, who are technically one of the Patriots' disciple teams, but they play a lot more zone. Obviously, they have Kevin Byard, an incredible safety, very rangy safety on the back line, and player like Logan Ryan, who's very good in zone coverage, which probably explains it, fit your defense to your personnel. But as you'll see on this play, he's lining in man coverage against Keenan Allen, as I mentioned earlier, one of the best route runners in the league, and you'll see why maybe they don't want to play as much man coverage. So here, this point here, he's facing outside, hips facing the wrong way. Allen cuts in. He doesn't really sink his hips fast enough. He does stay with him though. He gets his hips around and puts his hands on Allen to kind of beat him up a little. But Allen he just loses. He just loses the round, gives up the catch. You'll see here. So yeah, loses a step there. Allen doesn't really do a good job stacking him, but this second move, once Logan Ryan kind of loses a step on this first move, he gives up enough space inside that all Allen really has to do is turn inside very quickly, and Ryan can't make a play. I mean, if you look, even coming around this break here, Byard kind of stumbles. He doesn't really have the balance and change of direction to play man coverage at a high level. You watch here. So right there when he changes direction, he needs to take such a wide angle. He loses balance. He stumbles. And it's because he just can't really keep up. Keenan Allen's obviously a hard player to cover in man coverage, but this is a problem for him consistently whenever he lines up in man coverage. Just isn't as good. I mean, as rangy as you are, as great as your instincts are in zone coverage, when your footwork isn't great and your body control and positioning and balance aren't very great, you can get beat pretty easily by some of these more shiftier guys, especially a player who lines up a lot in the slot. He'll probably be lining up a lot in the slot in New York too. It's really easy to get just beat by these shiftier, more agile guys. And this fourth play, run defense and tackling aren't really things we talk about much when it comes to cornerbacks, but it is very important for a cornerback to first be able to tackle. And run defense is also pretty important. Being able to set the edge, get outside, make plays. Byron Jones, the very high-paid cornerback now of the Miami Dolphins, was actually an excellent run defender in Dallas, and that has something to do with why he's such a great player. And especially for a player like Ryan, who is kind of a box safety almost, being able to tackle and being able to play run defense is actually pretty important. So here, lined up in the box against the Kansas City Chiefs for going to this game for this one. And he does a great job holding positioning, shedding a block, setting the edge, and making the tackle. Kind of creates traffic so the runner doesn't have an open lane to get outside. You'll see it better. In this angle, he's all the way. He's like out there, but... Oh, no, he's that one right there. Yeah, but he kind of goes off screen. But if you watch him here, good job using his hands to gain space. The blocker never really... I think it's Travis Kelce never really... fully engages him. Ryan uses hands to earn some extra room and manages to shed off the block and push off the player. Like Kelce never has a handle on him. His hands are active and he swings around to shed the block, stack up and create the play, make the play there. This is not something that you really hear about with corners or safeties. But as a box safety, as a box corner, it's very important to be able to play against the run and tackle, and Ryan definitely has that skill. And for the fifth and final play, I just want to highlight Logan Ryan's hand usage again. This is once again against the Chiefs. Just the way he uses hands, the way he attacks the ball, how good he is at the point of attack, how good he is at kind of timing his moments and choosing his moments. Here, quick out by Patrick Mahomes. Not the best placed ball, a little bit behind the receiver, but look at the athleticism and reach and range he shows. Gets his long arms out there, breaks up the pass, gets in front of I think it's Sammy Watkins there. Better angle from here. Playing from the inside, where you have to cover so much range when you're playing inside, because look. I'm gonna go back here. Look how far he is from the sideline to start this play. He's inside the hashes essentially. And it's just so much space to cover, especially on an out route. It leaves the player so vulnerable, but he just has so much range. And even when he maybe is a step behind a player like Sammy Watkins, who's pretty fast. Sammy Watkins isn't good, but he is fast. He manages to catch up, show that closing speed, and show that just ability to attack at the point of the ball. Sammy Watkins he's worthless, so he doesn't even get his head around. He has no idea what's going on. But Logan Ryan, a great job. Let me actually show it from this angle now. Yeah, he's effectively inside the hashes when he's little. He's basically on them once the ball is snapped, but he just gets out there so easily. He gets out there so quickly, and then he just gets his arm around the guy to make a play. And it's like plays that should be receptions if Ryan wasn't so rangy aren't, just because he's so rangy. He's so good at closing down receivers. And he's so good at using his hands and attacking at the point of attack. So overall, a great signing for the New York Jets. He's only 29 years old, so if he plays well this year in New York, he might earn a long-term deal, whether it's with the Jets or with another team. Very, very good secondary they're building over there in New York. Honestly, if you count Logan Ryan as like a third safety, then they have an incredible safety trio in Jamal Adams and Marcus May and Logan Ryan. You have like Jamal Adams and Logan Ryan both can play in the box, and Marcus May is a great back-end safety. So yeah, I love the move. Only on a one-year deal, probably isn't too expensive. I know he was asking for around over $10 million a year, but the fact that it took him this long to sign probably means that a lot of teams weren't willing to give him that. And even if it is around $10 million a year, or even above $10 million a year, it's only for 1 year, so there's not really much risk there. Let's say it doesn't work out. Let's say he's terrible for the Jets, which I couldn't see happening. But even if he is, then they can just move on. There's really no risk for the Jets here. And Logan Ryan gets to prove that he's worth one more big contract before he probably retires soon. So yeah, good signing for the player, good signing for the team. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Twitter @MansourShaheen. Follow @BirdWordsPod on Twitter. Check out the podcast episode that came out today. And make sure to subscribe on Patreon, where you can get scouting reports on every relevant player in the NFL, about 20 players per team. Find out more about the New York Jets or the Tennessee Titans. Find out about the players your team signed this year. Scouting reports going to be going out between now and August. And also, you get an exclusive film breakdown every week. And this week, this film breakdown is on Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. So if you're interested in learning more about the guy who's dominating headlines right now because of his weird contract negotiations with the team, then yeah, subscribe over there and see it on Friday. All right, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.